In A Quiet Place Day One, the invasion in New York City comes with chaos and pandemonium. We're no longer on a small remote farm in the middle of nowhere. We are in busy New York City. Nobody knows the new rules of the world, and everybody has to learn them. And we take you on the journey of how that happens.
A Quiet Place Day One was released in the United States by Paramount Pictures on June 28, 2024. The film, which has since received positive reviews from critics, with Lupita Nyong'o's performance garnering widespread acclaim. The American apocalyptic horror film, written and directed by Michael Sarnoski, based on a story with John Krasinski, is the third installment in the Quiet Place film series, serving as a spin-off and prequel to the first film. It also stars Joseph Quinn, Wolff and Djimon Hounsou, reprising his role from the second film. Arise News had the opportunity to sit down with Lupita and Joseph to discuss their roles and experiences in this new release. Hi Lupita, hi Joseph, it's really good to see you. Congratulations on the new movie. I definitely think you have another hit on your hands. Well, let's go straight into it. I think the biggest thing for me when you think of the franchise from 2018, where it's about if they hear you, they haunt you. But now in going back, it's about hearing how it all began. How difficult or how easy was it to play a role that involved very little speaking? You know, you had to really act with your expressions, all of that fear. Was that different for you? Did that draw you more to this role? We'll start with Lupita because it's ladies first.
Thank you. Well, actually, it was really refreshing to have a project that required very little talking, because what it did is it strips away just the easy way of communicating. We're always communicating with our bodies, with our facial expressions. We're always saying more than our words represent. And so when the words are taken away, all you have is that kind of more visceral, more primal human communication. And it makes for very nuanced acting, I think, and it makes for great listening. You have to be listening in the moment. You can't prepare what you're going to do because you don't know what the other person is going to bring to the work. So it was very exciting to do it, and to do it mainly with Joe because he's a very generous actor. So you never feel like you're out there alone. It was definitely teamwork.
Both of you are definitely not new to the horror genre, with you, Lupita, having done Us and Little Monsters, and of course Joseph coming from Stranger Things. Now, how different was that for you, you know, acting with very little to no sound, you know, not being able to scream when you saw those monsters or had to react to it?
It was an interesting exercise, yes. We both spoke about it, how this was going to be the main challenge of it, really, being able to communicate with each other without any dialogue or most of the film, no words at all. And it was definitely something that doesn't happen very often. Normally, in a screenplay, it's very much about the words. For us, it was very much what was happening in between the very few lines that are in the film, and trying to establish these two characters' connection without that felt like a very interesting challenge, and one that we were both curious to invest in.
You can't have a cat in here.
It's a service cat.
You know, I was watching it yesterday, and of course I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but it really reminded me of I'm Legend, when you saw Will Smith with his ghost. I mean, the cat should be right there between the two of you. Was it, I wanted to ask, between the two of you, are you a cat or a dog person? Let's start with Lupita.
Well, I am definitely now a cat person. I wasn't before this film. I was actually afraid of cats before I started this film, and I had to face that fear in order to play Samira. And then in the process, I fell in love with them, and I got one for myself. So I'm a cat person.
Oh, okay.
I am.
What about you, Joseph? I mean, if it was a dog, with I'm Legend, they were dealing with monsters that were very sensitive to sound. So I think cats were kind of perfect for it. Are you a dog or a cat person?
I think cats were perfect for this film, you're right.
Yeah.
I like cats a lot, but I love dogs. But I also like cats. If I had to pick, I wouldn't want to, but I would pick a dog, personally. However, the
I
cats
think I'm going to have to side with you on there, Joseph.
You both would not live very long, is all
Yes.
I'm going to say.
I agree, because the dogs will be yelping the whole time. But now that you've done a movie like this, has it made you think of an end of the world plan? Like, what if the world was going to end? Has it made you think about maybe putting like some of your affairs together, maybe working on some underground cave somewhere where you could easily run away to, just in case something happened?
Do you know? Yes, but not so much because of this film, because I live in a fire-prone zone in Los Angeles. I moved to this fire-prone zone last year, and I actually had a scare where there was a fire nearby, and I realized I did not have a plan in place. So since then, yes, I have a bag packed, and with the supplies for me and my cat to be able to evacuate as quickly as possible.
Do you?
I do.
Just in case?
Yes, you have to go. You have to do it. Yeah.
Far more
What
prepared than
about
I
you,
am.
Joseph?
I live in South London, so I don't. God willing, there's no fires there.
Yeah.
The monsters don't discriminate. It could be London, it could be
You're
New York,
right.
you know, it could
You're
be
right.
You're
Los
right. I need to
Angeles.
pack a bag.
Yeah.
All right. A quiet day. A quiet place, day one. Nice one, Seyitan. I mean, that's a good report and good, conversation with two important people, particularly our own Lupita Nyong'o, even though a Mexican Kenyan, but of course making the African continent proud on the global stage. Is this something that you think that Nigerians should look forward to? It's already breaking in money, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It came out on the 28th. I think it's just, on the 28th, so just a day or two days ago. But it was a very interesting experience because, first off, while I think they were putting together the press for this, because it's such a. They really wanted to push it in the cinema, so they had a bunch of journalists come out to watch the movie. And in Nigeria, it was on just two people that were selected: Arise News and another platform, which I'm not.
That's great.
Yeah, very fantastic. I mean, we are.
Who else?
Who else are they going to call? So it was a very interesting experience. We went in, we watched the movie even before it was out because they were very particular about us actually understanding the concept.
That's right.
I personally am a huge horror genre movie kind of person, so it was very interesting to see that the first two movies did really well. John Krasinski is such a huge name in Hollywood, producing that with his wife Emily Blunt. So what was really interesting about this movie is that in the first part we had just kind of gone straight into seeing a world that was already being terrorized by these aliens or whatnot. So what this movie does, the prequel, is takes us back to the first day that the invasion happened and makes us really understand the concept of living in just living your ordinary life and then just being invaded by aliens next minute. I don't think that can never. It feels like that can never happen in Nigeria. But it was a really good movie. It's probably going to be out this week.
In Nigeria?
Yes, out this week in Nigeria. And anybody who's a movie lover just like me should go in and see it. It was very interesting being able to catch up. I'm a huge fan of Lupita, as you would imagine.
Lupita, we will go and see it, definitely. I mean, since, what was that film in 2013? That blew her into...
12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave,
yes,
for which she got an Oscar,
yeah.
And she's done very well. And sometimes I wonder, who is our own Lupita on the world stage? At 41, we've got, people like in our peer group in Nigeria. But again, Nollywood is doing quite fine. But then sometimes we need to push 1, 2, 3, out there. I listened to what Genevieve said at that event, and why the Hollywood challenge didn't work for her, especially after Lionheart. But for me, I really think that, it won't hurt anybody to have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 of our own Lupitas.
Well, before we go, one thing I picked up from doing this interview, very interesting, was they actually sent us a clip, basically teaching us how to pronounce Lupita's name correctly. And it's actually Nyong'o.
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 Yes.
That's good. Great time.